day 4 of the Girls Watch Fun, and I just finished Phantasm, and I basically have no idea what was happening in that film. I think it was a film about aliens, or brotherly love, or grief. I'm really not sure. It starts off with graveyard sex. It gets weirder and weirder with a creepy sort of crypt keeper who steals a corpse. Our protagonist is some child and his older brother, and they're investigating the creepy goings-on. And unlike in most horror films, these motherfuckers just pick up guns pretty early on, which credit to them.
Here, you keep that. Now remember, you don't aim a gun at a man unless you intend to shoot him.
But then the older brother is going for some graveyard sex of his own, which might get him murdered. The little brother starts getting chased by something little, brown, and low to the ground, so he takes a Bowie knife and goes hunting, which leads him to break into the old abandoned cemetery house thing, where a flying orb mind drills some guy. After he dodges it. And that was the bit where I'm like, I have zero clue what's happening anymore. He chops off the tall crypt keeper's hand, and yellow blood and creepy moving fingers follow. He then shows them to his brother, then they're normal. Later they become a fly monster. And then they're attacked by what are essentially Jawas, little dwarf people. And they just start blasting them with their guns. Then one of the dwarves turns out to be friend Tommy, who is now a dwarf zombie, and also the guy we watched get murdered at the start in the graveyard set. And this creepy old man may also have dream powers. It was not clear. Ice Cream Man's car crashes, but don't worry, he doesn't die, because I guess if you don't see the corpse, he's not dead. But now the brothers are in panic mode. They've decided they're going to hunt down the source of the problem. Of course, Big Brother doesn't want Little Brother going with him. Fortunately for Little Brother, he's pretty bright. He makes a hammer and a shotgun shell into a makeshift explosive and blows the door off so he can chase after him. Of course, Creepy Tool Man is at his front door and kidnaps him. While he's in the back of the hearse, he shoots out the car's tires, jumps through a window, and the car explodes. Maybe killing Toolman, or maybe not, because it's unclear. But now the brothers are back together and they are investigating the house. And what happens? The orb returns. It flies towards them, but gun beats orb and they shoot it out of the sky. Ice Cream Man returns from the dead, or not the dead, and he says he saved the girls. Or maybe he hasn't. I really started to get very suspicious of Ice Cream Man. And they go through the spooky door, which enters them into a room full of barrels, full of dwarves that are also zombies. Then the little brother sticks his head through a space portal that either shows him hell or an alien planet where they're using the dwarves as slaves, and that's why they shrink them down. Ice Cream Man sets it to self-destruct by touching both sides of the portal at once, and the house vanishes in a puff of smoke. Second time by Sexy Murder Lady, which is also the Gravekeeper in disguise because he can transform. They return home. The brothers return home. One of them, the older, heads towards the old abandoned mine shaft to set up a trap, while the little brother gets more ammunition. But, of course, creepy grave creeper is already at the house waiting for him. And he chases him through the streets using his spooky magic to slow him down. But it doesn't matter. He makes it to the mine, jumps over the pit, and the old, tall man falls. And they cover him in rocks. And it seems like they've won. But then the younger brother awakens, and it's all a dream. And his older brother has been dead the whole time. He died in a car crash. And Ice Cream Man's been looking after him all this time.
You had a dream. Just a nightmare. What do you expect? You've hardly slept since the funeral last week.
But then in the final shots of the film, Toolman gets him, and there are 5 sequels to this film, and I'm like, it seems like they dragged it on and on and on. It was pretty spooky. I'll be honest, I was not sure what was happening. There were spooky visuals, there were jump scares. It's a pretty great Halloween film, but I have zero idea what the plot of it was. So maybe check it out, maybe don't. It's whatever.